Hey guys, this is Mao Shajaz. You're watching me on Masala UAE, and today we just watched Chhapaak, a film that is based on the life of Lakshmi Agarwal, an acid attack survivor. Deepika Padukone plays Lakshmi Agarwal, and Lakshmi Agarwal has been trying to stop the sale of acid in India, which hasn't succeeded. But the truth is that the real problem that the film and the lives and the stories of, if you look at the stories of acid attack survivors, the real problem, obviously, as is explained in the film, is patriarchy and how men cannot accept the word no. When a woman says no to them, this is the extent they go to. They throw acid on a woman's face, they destroy her entire life. And that is the main story, and that is the main crux of Malti's story, which is also heartwarming in many places because Malti chose to rise from her dilemma. She chose to fight about it, and she chose to do something about it, which is what Deepika Padukone displays in her character. The story is built in a way that it becomes sort of an inspirational story for many women, and it also becomes a cautionary tale for all the men, and it becomes sort of a message for the Indian judiciary, I would say, that they have to understand, and the stakeholders have to understand that acid obviously must be stopped. The sale of this of acid just being commonly sold to anybody, like 30 rupees, that's the price of acid. That's what it says in the film. So we talk about the film itself. It's a very strong attempt, and it's a very strong effort, because Deepika Padukone is the highlight of the film, no doubt, because the film completely relies on her. She's really not Deepika Padukone in the film, and as you can see that in Bollywood, the star value makes all the difference. It makes all the impact in a film, but in this film, that's not what it is. Deepika Padukone is actually playing a survivor, and there's no emphasis on the glamour, there's no emphasis on her looks. In fact, even her acting most of the time is very reined in, except obviously at the moments where she has to lose her grip and she has to lose that emotional control, especially when she sees her face in the mirror for the first time after her face being disfigured. So all of those moments Deepika handled beautifully. The powerful moments, the poignant moments, she really did an amazing job in that. The real problem in the story and the film itself was the fact that it relied too much on the melodrama, and it didn't really go into the depths and the details of what were the complications and what are the difficulties that are there in actually stopping the sale of acid. And if it had gone into a more broader context in terms of how globally acid attacks happen and what is exactly happening with all the other survivors, and sort of made Malti a part of a bigger fabric of the story that they were trying to tell, rather than focusing on that one small diameter of her story, perhaps it would have made a bigger impact. But at the same time, you also want to see that they are trying to just tell the story of one person. But then the story doesn't get too convincing because there's so much soundtrack and there's so many songs and there's so much, I don't know, I think it was trying to tell different stories at different points in time, which sort of made it lose its impact. But then again, you were riveted back in because of Deepika, and excellent performances by Vikrant Massey as well. So in that, the performance aspect of the film was really great, but I felt that it could have done without the soundtrack. It could have done without the same song being played over and over again, which sort of became a little bit jarring, because a story like this is so powerful. It has its own pathos that it doesn't need the crutches of a soundtrack or a melodramatic music of that kind, or a melodramatic song that keeps on playing. Sort of takes away from the real moment. And I felt that if the audience could have stayed in that moment, and if I could have stayed connected to the actual emotionality of the character, then probably would have been better. But otherwise, it's a good watch. It's, I think, one of the films that Deepika should be very proud of. I think women in India should be very proud that a mainstream actress like that has taken the leap, and she's done a role like that. And it's not easy to do a role like that in the prime of your career, and when you are some sort of you're hailed as a beauty icon. So for her to do this role is really brave. And the only problem I felt in the film was that the storytelling was a bit weak, and the way that they could have told the story could have been so much more powerful. But it felt like they were staying back from certain things. They were afraid of saying certain things. and yet they were trying to say all those things, and also they were basically shortcutting through a lot of storytelling. For example, a lot of the storytelling is happening through the lawyer, and the exposition of the problem is happening through the story, through the dialogues of Archana, which is Malti's lawyer. So instead of that, if they could have shown that, it would have made a better impact. But anyway, apart from these small hitches, I think Chhapaak is a strong film. It deserves a lot of appreciation for being made, because how many stories like that do you think are being told? How many people are brave enough to tell a story like that? So for that, it deserves the kind of appreciation that I think we should all go out to the cinema and watch it if we can. And Deepika Padukone obviously deserves the kind of praise and for the bravery she has shown in trying to portray a character like this, which takes back from all her stardom and all her glamour and all her beauty, and to look at yourself and to feel and breathe the life of an acid attack survivor. That takes some massive guts. So let me know what you think when you watch the film. Let me know what you can do to stop the sale of acid. I think all of us, in our wherever we are in our world, in every part of the world, we have to all be feminists. We have to all stand for something, and I think that this film will make you stand for something. I think if it just does that, I think that is what a film like that should be doing. And I think just to even read through the stories of these survivors is so painful, that I think all of us should do our part in stopping the misogyny, and men should just learn to understand the word no. Thank you for watching once again, and subscribe, like, and if you want to watch more reviews, stay tuned and go watch Chhapaak. Bye. Thank you.